Christmas cash. Let's do it.
Christmas cash is here again. I don't know what I'm doing.
Is this sweater going to be too hot?
Yes. Take it all off.
No, you'll be fine.
I want it to be Christmas.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
Let's do podcasting. I think it's a good idea.
All right. Well, like we're all here.
Yeah, we might as well. We're sitting here. The lights are set up. The camera's recording. The audio.
We plugged in all that stuff. We set it all up.
Yeah.
We sat down.
It just
I
seems
hit
like an
record.
awful lot of
Like, what do we-
work to not do an
It
episode.
seems an
Yeah.
awful lot of work to have just a fun conversation.
Can I be honest with you? Sometimes, like, that's the problem. Is like
I know.
You feel the spark.
Yes.
Yeah.
This has happened many, many times on this podcast in particular. I don't know how it is for the other guys. I don't know how it is for the other guys and gals out there in podcast world, okay?
Right.
I don't know what's happening on Spotify. I don't know what's going on Spreaker? Is that one?
Speakers. Yeah.
I think it's Spreaker.
Freak.
It might be an ice cream flavor. Ice cream brand.
So I know that we get together and we set everything up and we converse while we're setting up because we're friendly folks.
We were chitting and chatting about
Yeah.
Fargo.
Yeah.
Talk about my dating life.
Oh, that's Fargo too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really is. His dating life, I think you could break down the various people that Chuck has dated since exiting a long-term relationship.
Right.
As different storylines in even just the movie Fargo,
Yeah,
let
that's
alone
true.
the TV show.
Yeah, that wood chipper girl.
I was gonna say that was literal.
A lot of times, I think Chuck sees himself as the guy with the ski mask standing outside of the sliding glass door.
Yeah.
And the woman, William H. Macy's wife, sitting on the couch,
Yep.
is a woman Chuck is attracted to
Oh,
or
okay.
interested
Yeah.
in.
All right.
You know, I think so. If anybody wants to edit that together, that'd be really
Just
good.
put my eyes.
But yeah, so what I was saying is we set up and we have a conversation and it's like, oh, it's moving. We're
Yeah.
flowing through this and we're in podcast kind of zone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we're being a little performative, but then we sit down and we're like, okay, let's do levels. All right. That one's all set. Okay.
Yeah.
Move a little over this way. Great. Okay. All right. And here we are. And then it just does feel like,
And then it goes from like Chuck and Ray time to Brad time, and it's just
Beep. I'm just,
I don't like that you think Chuck and Ray time and Brad time are separated things.
Chuck and Ray are heffing and jeffing. They're hopping and bopping. They're joking and stroking. I come on and
I'm
I'm
doing
like,
the joking.
Yeah, he is.
I'm also doing the heffing, which is weird.
but not the yeah. Normally you're a jeffer.
I'm normally Jeff.
but in this you have to heff.
Many days you can find me jeffing.
And then I come on and I'm like, hey, let's start the episode. Let's welcome the listener watchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. You're also like, I was
he's the
thinking
dad.
about the time Lemuel was in the village square.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, he's doing one of his apostle stories.
Yes.
Well, earlier today we were actually talking about something we're working on, and he's like, "Why don't you reference this?"
You can tell everybody it's Bible 2.
He goes,
They want to do Bible 2.
the Newer Testament.
Yeah. Well, Chuck loves a franchise.
I
and Brad loves the Bible. And so you put it together because Chuck's always there. He's been at some of your Bible classes.
Yeah.
And he's always just
the
like,
ski mask outside.
Yes.
all right, so we've established, like, this is when they've all kind of come together, right? Like, Jesus is in full form.
I just love the hero's journey.
Yes.
I once quoted Chuck at church.
That's not
Like
how that's
in,
supposed to
people
in
work.
have. A lot
front
of people
in
have.
front of the congregation.
Oh, no, he said church, not court.
Yes. Yes.
What did you quote?
It was Chuck was like, I sound weird saying it, but it seems like Jesus was just a really special, specific dude who was like, everyone should get along. It was something like that.
Sure, yeah.
And so I said that in front of the congregation, and my pastor's like rolling his eyes, but people are like, yeah, that makes sense. He was a special, specific
I think
dude.
I was probably saying it in response to the idea of people subjugating other people based on like, I love Jesus, so fuck them. And I'm like, I don't know if Jesus had a lot of fuck them in
It was in
Yeah,
response to you disliking the parable of the sowers, maybe the idea of like just real quick. I'm sorry, Ray. Lemuel at the village square. People showed up at in the morning, and they're like, and the guy was like, you can work my farm and I'll give you a talent or a denarius or whatever money they were using. People showed up at noon. The guy's like, hey, I'm going to hire you to work the rest of the day. I'm going to give you a talent or a denarius. People showed up just before closing time, and he's like, go work my fields for an hour and you get paid a talent or a denarius. And Chuck's like, well, that's not fair. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point of it. He's like, and so it was, that's where the discussion started.
Got it.
Yeah,
got
I see.
it. Got it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
So, you were saying that we were talking earlier.
we were
today.
talking earlier today, and
4 tangents out, by the way.
and,
Still want to start the episode.
It's totally fine. It's
Brad,
totally fine.
Brad was like, well, you know the Jesus stuff? It's Christmas. Yeah. Brad's like, well, why don't we reference this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know how many people know that reference. And he goes, well, I know that reference. And I'm like, you know a lot of references that a lot of people do not know. But this one, Brad's probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's Mr. Potter.
From It's a Wonderful Life. Voted number 6 on the AFI's
Sure. Yeah,
best villains of all time. And
Oh,
Chuck's
yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, people aren't going to know who
But
that
you know how
is.
Brad was saying it? Mr. Potter.
Yes.
And I was like, I think they're going to think it's someone else.
Yeah.
They're going to think it's somebody
Yeah,
I
for
went
sure.
Full Rickman.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. You know,
And then I was drawing a lightning scar on Chuck's head.
Mr. Potter.
you were talking an awful lot about how you wanted to fuck his mom.
She was just so nice to me in high school.
That is true. I do think it's insane in Harry Potter where it is eventually revealed like Harry's dad was just like a piece of shit
Yeah.
to young Snape.
Yep.
Right? I don't know. This podcast is coming out in the year 2014.
Yes.
And we can talk about this idea.
Can I tell you a funny thing? I watched all the Harry Potter movies like in a row over the course of like a week because my family was going to Universal Studios to go to the Harry Potter stuff, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And so it's funny, like people talk about Harry Potter
Yeah.
and all these different movies, and I'm like, to me, it's like one big story I experienced
yeah.
together. I don't know the differences. They're like, how about the Prisoner of Azkaban? I'm like, is that the eagle? Who are we talking about? What are
Sure,
I don't know
yeah.
any. I don't know
wasn't an
any
eagle.
delineation.
Yeah.
All,
Buckbeak.
all I know is that it got darker towards the end. That's the only thing I could think
Sure,
of in
yeah.
terms of. But I think of it as one big story.
Yeah, my wife and I.
Oh, yeah, you watched them all at once, too,
Yeah,
right?
we knew nothing about Harry. We've talked about how Harry Potter was an absolute like pop culture blind spot for both of us
Right.
because of the time that it came out
Yes.
and the movies were happening. We were like a month too old to get into it, right? And like I knew people that loved Harry Potter. I knew people that were older than me that couldn't wait to go to like the next Harry
He
Potter
was like
movie.
that for me.
I was
Yeah.
psyched to read the books. I wanted to find out what
Right.
happened.
And
Yeah.
so I was just like, this makes no sense. And then Finn started watching like the first one, then it went to the second, and it got to a point where we were like, we need to watch ahead to
Yeah.
see if this is appropriate. And then we got sucked in.
It's
And
great.
we're a couple of Potterheads over here.
I fucking
Yeah.
loved it. I
But,
mean, I missed it. I was jealous of my brother, who is 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Because when the books were coming out and when the movies were coming out, my mom and my brother would be like, "Oh, tomorrow it's gonna come out," and
Yeah.
like it was just one of those things. I think I was too young at the time to really be that type of person that's like, "Oh, this would be a fun pop culture thing to just be part of."
Well, there's
know?
that period of time, that age where ingesting something that is really for someone younger than you
Yeah.
is like, oh no,
Yeah.
no.
That was
babes.
me with the Disney Renaissance in the 90s.
Oh wow!
So I didn't see Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast or any of those
Well,
until
that's
years
because
later.
that local theater wouldn't let you
Yes.
go to any. They said Brad Rohr, no G-rated films.
Right.
You know how some places like a bodega will have don't take checks from these people.
yeah.
Don't let this man get a G-rated ticket.
Yeah. I also am not allowed to write checks at most bodegas. Hello
Yeah.
and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. My name is Brad Rohr.
My name is Ray, edging the opening Harrington.
And my name is
Ew.
Chuck, the Cursed Child. I did really fall into Harry Potter.
That's what his mother refers to him as.
Yeah.
And I will say, to relate it to Christmas,
Harry Potter's often watched at Christmas time because they do Christmas in it.
There's a lot of Christmas in it, and also director of Home Alone and writer of Gremlins,
Yeah.
Chris Columbus.
Fucking Chris
did
Columbus.
the-
yeah.
Did he
did
write
the-
Gremlins or did he produce
The first
Gremlins?
two.
I think
Harry
I can't
Potters.
remember.
Yeah, but he was definitely involved in Gremlins as well.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that like what most people know of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
like the films kind of painted everything, right?
Right, yeah.
Anytime you try and put something into the world that's Harry Potter, it's going to come from the visual elements of the film,
Right.
and that's Chris Columbus.
Yeah,
that's
for
not
sure.
J.K. Rowling.
I know.
You know what I
sure.
mean? It's
Yeah.
Chris Columbus.
For sure.
And that's what I think is so magical about that. Like, it is firmly that the first movie, like, sets the thing.
Right.
And it's wild to think, like, that entire franchise and then, you know, video game and then all the things come from Chris Columbus, like, doing pre-production and working with different people, you know, and
Yeah.
it, like, that's killer. I love that.
There's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, the whole Shining thing is like fascinating. The fight between Stephen King and
Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick. It's great. There's actually a new
I
documentary.
have to call him Mr. Kubrick.
I really want to watch it. There's a new documentary called King, and it's about all the adaptations of
It's
Stephen
about
King's
Kubrick,
works.
which is weird.
Yes. I'll say
Wouldn't
that,
that be cool?
that documentary is probably 150 hours long.
Is it really?
No, I have no idea.
Oh.
He has had a lot of adaptations.
I hope that
Yeah,
he's,
yeah, yeah.
I hope that he's a big part of it, and he
Yeah.
talks about it. I don't know if he is. It
Yeah.
might be just from the outside, but I would love to watch that. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, we've overloaded on podcast pop culture
Yes.
Well,
right up front.
I have a very fun personal story about the winter, sort of, that I want to share.
What?
All right.
Are we in preschool?
Let's hear this sort of winter
Well,
story.
it's about a chili story. I found out yesterday that Brad told me this great story that I never knew about the chilliness. Brad,
Chilliness?
he bought himself a bidet and he installed it himself. Then he used it once, but it filled itself with freezing cold water and it sprayed his nutsack and his anus with freezing cold water and he never used it again. Isn't that funny?
Merry Christmas.
I'm so glad you brought this to the table. I didn't realize until you started saying that this podcast had a hole in it. And it could only be filled with bidets.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, what's more rife for a discussion than bidets?
I have another bidet topic I could bring up, but I think that this one's more meaty.
Is it for another bidet?
You know, I'll say mine right
A
now.
bataille for another bidet?
I'll say mine now, and it's very small. We'll scoot right past it, and we'll go to Brad's. Obviously, like I was in a band for 15 years. We played a lot. The band's not dead, but we're not really playing anymore. And the first song I ever wrote was a song called "Me and My Bidet," and it was about how I would sit on it and take care of business
Yeah.
because it feels nice.
That's
But
fun.
not Brad.
It was probably a
Back to
heater.
Brad. Here's the,
Probably a heater in that bidet.
there was a heater in that bidet, so not Brad's though.
so
So you got a bidet,
it's weird because I am
which is what the brochure said.
I-
So you've got a bidet. You should have read it.
Yes. You know what? Instead I got a tract from my church saying, "So you got a bidet," and it's like page 2. You're going to hell.
Oh no! It was a chick tract.
Yes.
It was a
great.
chick tract.
Yes.
Little comic book.
Here's
Oh,
something funny.
look, Timmy bought a bidet, and now he's begay, and he's going to behell. Oh no! I'm sorry. The buh thing is very
I
funny.
remember
yes,
a tract I saw in high school was like, "The dangers of LSD, lust, sin."
and
death.
deviancy.
Yes,
Death.
yes,
the dangers of
deviancy.
death. We know that one.
Yep. Anyway, so the bidet. I was reading Kindred Deals is a website that I go to a lot to like find out what deals there are, out and about on the internet. And they kept advertising this specific bidet. For like 3 years, I would occasionally see posts about it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it is like more effective, and they're like, if you step in dog poo, do you wipe it off with a cloth or do you spray your shoe down with a hose? And I'm like, good point. And I'm
And your
like,
anus is like an old shoe.
yep. I was gonna I was gonna make a joke about the tread, but
Yeah.
it does say Adidas inside my bum. So I'm like, let me buy this bidet.
Hold on. I'm trying to think of a hot dog word that starts with S.
Sauerkraut.
Sausage.
All day I dream about sausage.
Yeah.
Is that something?
So it arrives. I need to install it, and I'm like, I'm not a plumber. You turn off the water to the toilet,
Yeah.
disconnect this thing, connect to something else, put this here, put it. It goes between the toilet seat and the porcelain of the bowl.
Yeah.
But because of the way it is, because of the height, the toilet itself can't close. The toilet lid can't close because the seat is a little bit higher and this won't close down on it.
Oh, I don't like that.
Right. And so, but I'm like, all right, well, it seems like it's working. I press flush, the toilet flushes. Everything seems okay. I'm not leaking water anywhere. And then
Not from the toilet.
I turn the knob and it shoots a jet stream of water. Probably, it
It
like
shot into his mouth and his head goes.
I thought he was
honestly,
sitting.
it was like a carnival game, and the little clown and
Can
the balloon.
I tell you what I picture?
Yes.
I picture you sitting on the toilet, and then you hit the lever.
Yep.
And then you go, oh, and then water shoots out of your mouth.
Well, this is I'm
It's
not
like a reverse clown.
I'm not sitting on the toilet at this point. I just want to make sure it works.
Same water. Same hair.
But you know what's so dumb though? I picture it the way a movie would do it.
Yeah.
Like a 90s comedy.
Yeah.
Where it's a profile
Yeah,
shot.
yeah,
of
a
Brad.
nozzle.
Hose on the other side.
Yeah, yeah. And he's going, and he's just got his mouth open while water is pouring out. Yeah.
So fine. It works.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. All right, fine. I sit down.
Finally, it's time.
Yeah. I do my poos, and then I'm like, all right, here goes. And I twist the little knob, and honestly, the water was like 33 degrees. It was so cold. And it's a weird sensation anyway to have water essentially super soaked into your bum.
I love the idea of your nutsack being covered in frigid water. That's so funny.
And also, presumably, little flecks of shit.
And
my cold, tight nutsack is covered in poop.
I'm sure that I shrieked and squealed like I had just seen a velociraptor on screen.
2 legs sticking straight up in the air.
They kicked through the wall.
My eyebrows shot up off of my head.
It's just Jeff Daniels and Dumb and Dumber at this
It
point, right?
really is. Except
Going in instead of out.
And again, this wasn't
Brad's landlord is upstairs.
This was not a sustained burst.
The water's pushing him. The water's pushing him up just enough off of the seat that he can't reach the lever anymore. He's literally he's like bobbing in the air on a street.
It's the clown with the helmet, except the helmet is me. And I was like,
I can't reach. I can't reach.
I think this is,
Isn't that so funny?
and I was like, I did not enjoy that sensation. I don't remember it like working well enough to keep it. Like I'm sure it worked. With that kind of pressure, it's sandblasted everything smooth.
It was this like anal rejuvenation surgery.
It was
Well, I don't have to wax anymore.
So we were at my parents' house eating Chinese food with them last night. I heard him telling like my dad or something. And I was like, how could he have never told us on the podcast?
because it's
It
embarrassing.
is, but you know what though? I will applaud you for one thing.
Candor.
Because I do want to talk about this. Well, not only the candor, that's key. Yeah. Candor is key. But I will say this. The bidet.
Yes.
I've been thinking about the bidet
Yep.
recently because, the ads for it are ubiquitous. They're
Yeah.
everywhere. And I've been thinking about it because, look, hey, I'm a guy.
Yep.
All right? I'm a human being.
Yeah.
That does twos.
Yep.
All right? I do twos.
Yeah.
Guilty.
You do twos? Yeah, we all do twos, okay? Only Brad is the only one that refers to it when he sits down as Brad on the ones and twos.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, I'm about to DJ.
With these monstrous headphones.
So it's the scratching that's weird. But the bidet experience, like I've heard a couple of people that have gotten them talk about them, and I started thinking about the idea for like globally, if this makes sense. I'm going to try and attempt to talk about this.
All right.
I think America might be
Yes.
the one like first world country
Yes.
that's just like bidets. That's weird.
Yep.
All of the other first world countries have adopted the bidet
Right.
to a level that, like, the traveling that I've been doing, like, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a bathroom. I'm like, oh, there's a bidet here.
Yeah.
I've yet to do it.
You haven't had one?
No, I also feel like a public one, not public, but like a hotel room
Yeah.
doesn't strike. Maybe that is the best place to try it, though.
my parents' last house, the one that before I lived in my house now, you've been there.
Yes.
Their upstairs bathroom had a bidet. We bought it. My parents probably bought it in 2002. We lived there until 2015, and so I had a bidet for a long time.
After the events of 9/11, your parents were like, "Life's too short. Yeah, let's get the bidet."
It is a little weird though, because here's the thing.
Sure.
Like, you're totally right about. Here's what's weird. You know how they said the thing about like if you touch dog shit, you wouldn't wipe it off. You'd wash your hands.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's back in my head. I have nothing to add. I'm literally just wildly distracted by the image of Brad hovering above the toilet.
It's the best. Any
spinning.
pressure on Brad's anus that is holding him up in the air, I'm for.
I need a AA battery powered magnetic toy of Brad hovering above the toilet. And he just slowly rotates.
You know what would be amazing
Press
for
the button.
Funbearable merch? Here's the Funbearable merch.
No.
It's an alarm clock. Brad sits on it.
No.
And then when it goes up, it sprays him up in the air and he goes, ah!
No.
Anyway, all right. So,
Now Corey's gonna 3D print this. Don't 3D print this, Corey.
so
Don't 3D print just one.
yeah, there's 3 of us. But, oh shit. Bidet. Oh yeah, so here's the thing. Like you said you wouldn't wipe it off, which, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But what else do you do after you wash your hands? You take a towel and dry them thoroughly. So where does that fit into the bidet? Because then you have like an anus covered in water that's just dripping.
No. I would assume
Then you wipe.
a brief pat dry and you're good to go.
Well, so you go in the toilet.
So it's just a hairdryer.
So do you go in the toilet, number 2s? Then you shuffle over to the bidet with a dirty asshole.
Sure, yeah.
And you spray it. Then you shuffle back towards the toilet and you wipe it and then you flush. Like this is kind of weird.
It's a little weird, but I would say in recent years, the bidet has been switched over to like a thing you add on to an existing turlet.
Sure. I think
So your
traditionally though it is
turlet-
separate, right?
Yeah.
It is traditionally separate, yeah.
Yeah.
But that can advance, right, along with technology.
I think if it had
If
been
we could
heated,
send an email.
If it had been heated, I would have kept it longer.
Yeah.
But it was so cold and so unpleasant. And then the idea
Sure.
of like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this on a winter morning. Like, oh, get on the bed. Wah! Like, no
Yeah.
thanks. No thanks.
No, I get it. I do get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I just think
I'm gonna get
I'm
gonna
know,
get
I'm
Chuck
just
one for
curious
Christmas.
because of the idea of the bidet being something that is. I think it has. I've never done it, but it's got to be better than
Yeah.
what just turlet paper.
I think
does.
so, yeah, I think
it's got to
so.
be better.
I think a lot of
So why are we? Is it the Puritanism
Yeah.
that's
I
think-
embedded in Americans?
yes,
here's what
it's
it
too
is.
much less sin and death.
Well, I think it's whatever you grow up with is normal to you in your mind, and I think whatever
Yeah.
is like different than that, I think you have a little mental block getting over it, and especially when it's like, well, it's going to deal with shit in your asshole.
Sure,
I
yeah.
think there's even more of a mental block.
I know. I just think I don't want to be I don't want to start the movement, and I don't even really want to publicly be a part of the movement.
neither do I.
But I do want a
Movement.
movement towards like
Movement.
Can we just embrace this thing that is
know.
it's got to be a better thing.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way. Well, there is.
we don't
called
really
a bidet.
we don't do a lot of like shit talk on the podcast, not this kind, and because we're in this territory,
We're not talking about shit. We're talking about what happens afterwards. We're talking about cleaning up the mess.
I would like to tell this little recent story, and it's not about shit. It's about me. I have a new.
Just that one line is amazing. I'm sorry. I have a little story. It's not about shit. It's about me. If taken out of context, that's an amazing
The idea
line.
that's opening like a childhood movie where it's Daniel Stern's
This
voiceover.
one's not about shit. It's about me. But
How did I get here?
I've had a new like thing over the past couple of years. I don't know if you guys have
A polyp?
No. Have you ever had like a weak stomach? Like things make you feel nauseous easier?
Nauseated. Yes.
I went into a bathroom. I won't say the establishment's name, and I saw a sign on the wall of the bathroom.
It was Chick-fil-A, I bet.
This is a restaurant. No, it was like an actual restaurant. Went in, saw a sign on the wall. The concept of the sign made me sick to my stomach, and I had to leave the restroom. I couldn't even. And I'm gonna.
Because it was for black sand whites?
I'm gonna.
That's fucked up, Chuck.
It's a love is love, and Chuck's like,
I took a picture of the sign.
Oh, it was the bathroom sign that has like half of the dress and half of the not dress symbol.
you want me to read out the sign?
I'm gonna have Brad read the sign.
The all genders bathroom that made you sick to your
This
stomach.
this was above a toilet in a bathroom.
Dear guest, comma, Please do not put toilet paper or any kind of object '(S) in the toilet! 3 exclamation marks. Please use trash can! 3 exclamation marks. Thank you.
What are we talking about here? Are we talking about what I think we're talking about?
Use toilet paper in the trash.
Wipe your ass and put the toilet paper in a trash can next to the toilet.
I'm sorry. I went with the. I was not listening closely enough.
The spelling errors or what?
Please do not put toilet paper or any kind of objects in the toilet. Please use trash can.
Okay. Yeah. So that's. I don't like that.
I think.
Oh, and can I show you the bottom of the sign? Did you notice?
Yes, I did. There's
stain.
There's a
on
little
it,
brown
yeah.
stain on it.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's that, but like this is upsetting in context of what the sign is.
I do know that there's some, plumbing things that can happen where people don't flush toilet paper. I had a comic friend that, I don't know if he still lives in the same apartment, but he was living in an apartment in New York where the landlord was like, our plumbing, we can't do it. So you can, do your waste, but then anything else, you have to, and he's like, yeah, I have to wrap it up and put it in
I would break the
trash
lease.
bag.
I would break the lease and break my own neck.
How about this
That's
then?
the thing about it.
I think, again, this is more like Chuck grew up in the United States.
Yeah.
And is used to being
First
able to
world
put,
problem.
and is used
First
to being
world problems.
to put used toilet paper in the toilet. That is not the case everywhere in the world and has not been the
Yeah.
case.
How would you feel about that?
I've stayed at a place where that was a requirement. The face you just made was like I just said I 69'd Adolf Hitler. And you're like,
I'm not kidding.
Who was on top?
I'm not kidding.
We went side to side actually.
If I let it happen, I could throw up from
Okay.
thinking about that.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, Chuck. I have a question. So at the house
I
where
want to
you
explain my situation, but
at
go
the,
ahead.
at the house where you live right now, I can put used toilet paper in the toilet. I don't have to just.
I wish you had told me.
Would have been information that's helpful yesterday.
Follow-up question on Brad's question here, kind of building on the questions here. What's the policy on your glove box in your car? Or are you disgusting and you throw it out the window? So here's the thing. So I did stay at a lovely place in Akumal, Mexico, right? Mexico has some plumbing that's not great.
Yeah, different plumbing setup, different infrastructure is the word that I've been trying to think of.
Different
for the past 4 minutes.
infrastructure, different economy.
Chuck hates it.
Yeah.
Sick to my stomach.
But here's the deal. The place I stayed, I was flown down there for the Akumal Comedy Festival.
Right.
Stand Up Records produced that festival. So Dan Schlissel, who runs Stand Up Records, was really wonderful. He's like, hey, I want you to come do the festival. Great.
Yes.
We were staying in a home that was built by the Grateful Dead.
Of course.
They stayed in this area in Akumal, right? Which was really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
That is really cool.
They had built a stage.
I think you told me about this. Did you also go to a wrestling event at this?
No, but I did buy a
wrestling mask.
a luchador mask.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, for sure. So it's this beautiful place, like where it's the ocean's right there.
Right.
It's gorgeous. And this particular house was built by the Grateful Dead, the band. Like this
Right.
is the house that they would all go to.
Yeah.
And they had built an outdoor stage out of stone that was beautiful.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
I got to perform. I got to do stand up on that stage at night. Gorgeous. Loved the whole thing. The house was a beautiful, huge house.
Yeah.
Loved it. We hung out in the pool the whole time. We had a little lottery of, who gets to stay where.
Right.
I got the big room.
Nice.
I got the master bedroom.
Great.
Or we don't call it a master bedroom anymore.
no.
It's the what's the new word?
Slave owner's bedroom.
Thank you. Yeah. That's right. Right.
Is that really a thing? We don't say
God's
master
chosen
bedroom?
people room?
Master bedroom is not a cool thing.
That's apparently that's a thing.
What
yeah.
is the
primary bedroom? I think it might be. Doesn't matter. Anyway. And then this bedroom's like, I identify as a closet. What's going on?
Red State Ray.
that's not bad.
It's Red State Ray with an HGTV show. It's called House Hunters 2. I don't know.
Red State Repos.
Oh,
I like that.
Yeah.
TM.
Wait, then we'd be taking the house away.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
And I guess Red State Repos and Renos.
Okay, how about Red State Renos?
All right,
then it's like Red State Renos.
Yeah.
Renos.
Yeah,
I
Janet
mean,
Renos.
I guess we have to go Red State.
State.
Red State renovations. We'd have to do the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. This is an off-air
Fix it in post.
conversation.
Yeah, fix it in post.
So I got the big room, and it was beautiful. Loved every moment of being there. Had a nice balcony. I look out. Hey, everybody in the pool. I'm coming down. We're gonna hang out.
I am a golden god.
You know, oh, what? Gus went to the pharmacy and came back with fucking blocks of Xanax.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it was fun.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, I mean we didn't like get crazy. We got a little. It was
get a
like
little- you're a
light
little kooky.
crazy.
I know you're
light
Took a
crazy.
chip off
I
the
know
old
how you
block.
get.
Yeah. But the bathroom and all of the bathrooms in that house, we were all told, like, do not flush toilet paper.
Right.
Just wrap it up, put it in a trash can. And we had to do that. And at first I was like, this is insane. It's madness. But
Yeah.
then I did it the first time and I'm like, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's fine. And I thought for sure, like, this is going to be gross and like smell and things like that. No, it was fine. But here's what I realized. I was staying in the master bedroom, the primary bedroom.
Yep.
The bedroom that identifies as head of the household.
Right.
And that bathroom was attached, right? I didn't have to share a bathroom. And I was laying in bed one night and I realized this was probably Jerry Garcia's bedroom.
Oh.
That turlet was Jerry Garcia's turlet. Jerry Garcia wasn't flushing his papers, okay?
Nope.
Jerry Garcia, and I hear he took a long time in the bathroom because he treated it like a jam session, and he would just kind of take it where it went.
Just noodling.
Yeah, he had a couple of songs that didn't get released before his death, like "My Leg Is Asleep,"
Yes.
"I Can't Feel My Toes." No, all right.
That's funny. It makes me sick to my stomach to think.
That's
about
why
it.
you can't join in. There's
I can't. This is like when we talked about.
a feeling.
We talked about
A
ET.
palpable feeling of tension in the room right now because I said I did that.
I'll say from now going forward, I am never flushing my toilet paper at Chuck's house.
Oh my god!
Just so he has to live with it.
I'll-
I will sew it into the lining of your blankets so that
You
you,
know what?
stay warm at night.
Not only will I not flush toilet paper at Chuck's house, I won't flush it anywhere. I'll save it for Chuck's house.
There you go.
I'm gonna come and guess. Oh, you know what Chuck's getting for Christmas this year?
Finn, bring the bag.
Yeah, Chuck's getting for Christmas this year a hand-sewn lumpy pillow. A lumpy
not kidding.
pillow. It's buckwheat. It's good for your neck.
I'm sick. It makes me feel sick. I'm not kidding. It makes me feel sick to my stomach.
Do I detect?
But what would you
do
do?
I
if you-
detect lavender? No. The opposite.
I mean, before I give it to him, I will eat an entire bag of potpourri.
Oh, then you're fine.
And then, that's going to be
the
confusing.
The poison.
Dry flower petals hurt. So, oh God, they reconstitute once they get in there. It's like freeze dried, and then they come back to life.
Yep.
Oh, so you eat 1 pound of potpourri. You've got 3 or 4 pounds of flowers in your guts.
Yeah.
So my genuine question to you is: if you're in a situation where you are, you have to throw it in the trash can instead of flush it, like how are you? Are you doing that? Can you handle it? No, a little pouty, little shake of the head. No, a child. Just, are you going to do it again?
No.
That's what you just did.
I don't know why it makes me sick to my stomach. I don't know, man.
If you were,
maybe I'm a pussy or a baby or whatever, but I don't.
I mean, spoiled, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
spoiled.
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Privileged.
Well, this guy tried to get a bidet. That's a step
This
above my spoilage.
this guy got a bidet and then got rid of it.
That's not being spoiled. That's just like
I'm trying to be
self-care.
environmental.
Yeah. That's the other part of it that I will say, and this isn't even a goof, so it's not even funny. We've spent so long on this already.
We really have.
Bidets are more environmentally friendly because you're not using toilet paper. I would hate.
I'm okay with making the transition to bidets.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm
I'm-
not okay with making the transition to throwing
it
out
away.
my poopy toilet paper in a basket with everyone else's poopy toilet paper touching me and everything.
It's not touching you.
I understand 75-year-old Aunt Gladys.
You don't have to like press it in. You drop it from above. You're not touching.
You don't have to like stir.
No, I think you do. But here's the thing. I thought that when you have that trash can, they purposely put lids on them so they're not open all the time.
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them.
Then what are you talking about? You're not touching. Are you use the foot?
Sure.
Am I cramming it down or am I dropping it?
You got to open it. You got to touch it.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Just like everyone else who was fucking taking a shit.
Yeah.
I don't. Are you comfortable in public bathrooms, both of you guys?
Never. I'm not comfortable in a public bathroom alone with no one else in there, and all I'm doing is washing my hands.
You're not comfortable in a public bathroom, but you want me to throw my poop paper in everyone else's poop paper bin?
But why are we talking about like in a public setting?
Well,
I was going to ask if you stayed in that house in Akumal, beautiful place. Would you have,
Chuck
if you were there for that
Chuck
week?
runs to the ocean.
I was going to say, if you were there for that week,
I don't know
like
what I would
you
do.
would have been.
I don't know what I'd do. Okay.
Bummer to be around for that entire week.
No, I'd probably figure out some sort of thing. I'd probably tell
What's
them I'm
the
doing.
thing?
I'd figure it out.
Every time you poop, you jump in the shower and do a human bidet in there.
No, that's
If you
this
think
is
about it, a
disgusting.
shower is like a bidet.
I can't do this. I don't know why it's creeping me out.
What?
I don't know why.
That's it's very particular. How do you feel about pooping like if you were camping?
What do you mean?
In the woods? Yeah.
Like just
Do you bring a toilet with you when you go camping?
I never
Bidet.
can't.
He's got a squeeze bottle.
Wait, you guys
It's
camping?
just his water bottle?
Yeah.
You guys are pooping and camping? When's the
what
last
do
time
you-
you camped and pooped?
I didn't poop when I camped. Remember, I almost got lost in the woods.
I do.
I'd still be out there.
Why are we camping together?
We weren't. I went with my friend Wes, Funbear Wes, and we hiked 1 mile of the Appalachian Trail. And
I'm pooped.
yeah, middle of the night, I get up to pee, and he had said like, "Don't pee near the camp." Great,
Sure, yeah.
And so I wandered away, and I was and I just got lost in the dark. I was probably a quarter mile away from like the giant cabin where we were, and walking in the wrong direction.
Wait, it was a cabin, not just a tent?
It was like a structure.
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
I looked down, and there was Wes experienced had like a flashing headlamp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's weird. That guy way over there has the same headlamp as Wes. And then he thankfully called out. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like it would have been very bad for me.
Oh my God.
When was the last time you camped and pooped?
Jeez, I don't like the way you just said that.
I don't like it.
I also don't like that you have right now the hair height of Dan Aykroyd in The Great Outdoors. He's got huge high hair.
Yep.
I'm experimenting with moose.
That's you camping? What's he doing out there? I'm experimenting with moose. Okay?
I bought 3 mooses, and I think that's right for the MOUSSE.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I bought 3 mooses, and I'm cycling through.
All right.
So, what do you think?
It's fine. That's high. That's a little high.
It's high?
That's a little...
Yeah, we all, I've heard people refer to Chuck's hair as Jimmy Neutron, but like,
Yeah.
this is
Really high?
I think you're too Neutron.
Yeah, that's got
That doesn't feel so
That's
high.
Dan Aykroyd vibes for
Oh,
sure.
it doesn't feel that high.
It is. It doesn't feel that high. It's trying to get all the way to the top of it.
I will say today, total mishap. My Valvoline, the car,
Yeah.
I'm running late. I had to do a quick shower, very quick shower. So
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too.
To answer your question, it's been a while since I've had
Yeah.
to like poop in the wild, in the woods, camping, right? But like I said, I stayed at that house in Akumal, and that was fine. Like I don't know. I guess we didn't get to a fun, really entertaining place with this one.
Well, we did. It was at the beginning. The day.
I wonder how much of this should get just completely chopped.
Well,
in
no,
the bidet
I
conversation.
think it's fine. I think it's fine.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I genuinely think I would be alarmed if I heard how much toilet paper is used and discarded in a year.
Yeah.
Just in
Oh,
America.
you're saying versus a bidet.
Yeah.
I see.
I think we have to be, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now we're just in guessing territory where anybody can easily Google this, which feels stupid of us to just put it out there in the world, but we must be the highest consumer of toilet paper.
So you know what I just found out about saving water in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Some places they have the pipes from the wall. It comes into a sink, obviously, but the sink is above the toilet tank. and
Gray
the
water. Yeah.
after you wash it, that goes into your toilet water, which
Yeah.
is, that seems very
Yeah,
positive,
sure,
you know what I mean?
absolutely, yeah.
So if
Unless you're doing unless other things go down that drain, you know what I
Mousse.
mean? Mousse.
I'm flushing with
I
mousse.
don't want to flush with like toothpaste in it.
But again, the flush isn't affecting you.
Yeah, I don't mind the flush with toothpaste.
But I feel like the residue of the toothpaste would inevitably be in the turlet.
That's okay. It's better than what else
And
is
you
in
got to
there.
clean the turlet and do all the stuff.
it's better than the poops and the peas, right?
The ones and twos.
Yeah, the ones and twos.
It's better than that.
That's true.
I don't know. Anyway,
know.
That was my
Happy
winter
Christmas.
That was my winter discussion about Brad. I wanted to bring that up.
I'm glad that's the
We did
end
it.
of the discussion about my bum.
And you know what? I think we really did do this in a similar way as to somebody without a bidet or quality wiping product, where what we did is we just kept wiping away at this thing, only getting a little bit at a time.
Yep.
Until all of our assholes were sore.
Yes.
So I do have because this is supposed to be kind of our.
Why are we talking about this so
I know
much?
this is our Christmas casual.
No
episode.
one wants to. I feel like
Casual
all
Christmas.
three of us are pilots pulling up on the yoke,
Hold
and
on.
the plane is still plummeting to the ground.
So this is our casual Christmas episode. We open with a winter story, but I have some Christmas casual topics.
Great. Let's
One,
hear him.
I'm a little upset.
Okay.
I think you guys have tried to mislead me because last year I came up with an idea of something that I thought we all promised we were going to do this year, and you completely, I think you purposely made it so that we forgot about it, and it was my idea for Scro-Globes.
No, I don't.
I
did forget about it.
I put it in order. So
I forgot
I don't know
about
what
it.
happened.
So
I'll check
my
with the
idea
supplier.
was to have a snow globe, but it's a scrotum inside, and then we were going to make our own Scro-Globes based on our own scrotums.
You know what? I was anti. In fact, both of us. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
watched
we
the
were both-
episode.
yeah,
we were both
anti.
against it the entire time. So at no
Yeah.
point did we mislead you.
But that was
that's true. We were honest.
I thought that was Mike, Ray, and Brad, and then but really it was like.
No, that was real life. Yeah, for sure.
But did you do one of these things?
No. What we did is we did one of these. This guy.
this guy.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
yeah.
Oh, I thought that was just like you're doing a sideways thumb.
Oh no, that was a hitch. That was a hitch.
A sideways thumb means maybe yes, maybe no.
No. And for audio only listeners, Chuck thought that Brad and I gave a little thumbs up.
Like a secret thumbs up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we did and then you point your thumb towards the person and go, get a load of this fucking
Yeah.
guy. You know what I mean?
I know.
There's a lot of that.
Well, you know what? Your thumb, instead of being at like 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
I think it was at like 10.
Maybe. For me, that's 2. What's happening? That's what we're dealing with now. Which way's clockwise? Can I say I feel extra bad about this because not only did we not do anything with the Scro-Globes, thank God. Thank God, Brad.
We've got
We
to.
got to agree. Let's make a pact right now, Brad.
Can we have
Murder
You
a
and
Chuck.
I
You don't-
will kill and dispose of Chuck
Yeah.
if we ever get to a point where he's about to order that.
So, all right, I'll about this. First year, we're not going to make any Scro-Globes, but let's
Agreed.
make some Scro-Globe t-shirts.
No.
No.
I don't like it.
Let me extra clarify. Get a load of this fucking guy who wants to make Scro-Globe t-shirts.
I give the idea a solid thumbs down.
thumbs down. That's gonna be a no from me, dog.
This is Mike Ray and Mike Brad. I get it.
Yeah. Talk to us off, Mike.
Yeah.
That was on Mike.
No, because that's gonna compete with one of my already investments that I have.
Yeah.
We are not doing Scro-Globes because that's gonna rub right up against what I have going on.
What do you have going on?
Candles. So I did make a cast of my scrotum
Yeah.
and my ones and twos.
Could not enjoy this.
you're
So I
List.
did the twos and I did the one.
Wow. Okay.
And so I had a cast made of my genitals, essentially.
Yes, of
We
course.
just don't like refer.
We
to
say-
them
we
as
say
gen-
giblets.
We do, yeah.
that's a good PG-13 rated version of genitals.
Yeah. Couple of chestnuts and a turkey neck.
Yeah.
Got that cast.
Yeah. I hate the
Then-
beak.
Then you fill it.
Mine's like a turkey feather.
You take that.
I've got a sweet potato.
What is happening now? What is happening now?
Not so sweet.
Marshmallow.
Mini marshmallow.
All right, keep going. You got what's your bit?
Fucking hell. 1 kernel of corn.
How is this Christmassy?
We said turkey and stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Fucking
Scro-Globes.
hell. I don't know what's happening. So anyway, you make the mold, then you fill it with wax, you put a wick in it. The wick is at the tip of it.
I love it.
It's scented.
I don't think that makes it better.
Well, because Gwyneth Paltrow did her candle that smells like a vagina.
Yeah, that's true.
And I did penis candles that smell like historical figures' penis.
All right, now I'm
Oh,
back
that's
on board.
interesting. Ben
Yeah.
Franklin.
Not mine.
No.
I just had to do the casting for
Right,
it.
Franklin.
But what does Ben Franklin's dick smell? Oh, it's
kite.
terrible.
It's like a
Terrible,
kite.
yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's the thing is,
hygiene back then.
I
not
didn't
great.
do the fun version where it's
coppery.
like taking
The key.
You know, here's every name is out of my mind right now. I have a cold.
Yeah.
So I'm on Mucinex and Afrin, and my brain is just so foggy. I truly have. You know, I'm driving on a very foggy road.
Yeah.
And one famous gentleman referred to it as one headlight.
Oh, I love this song.
Jacob Dylan.
So, what's his name?
Jacob Dylan.
No, Walden Pond.
Flowers.
Thoreau.
Thank you. David.
Henry David Thoreau.
David Thoreau. I want to say Louis Theroux. He's a British interviewer. So Henry David Thoreau. Thank you very much. I even have a fucking track on my last album titled "The Woods Killed Henry David Thoreau."
Yep.
Yeah.
So his candle.
Yep.
This was from that bit. His candle, I didn't go the route of like a fun version where it's like, oh, well, he was a very like he was a literary outdoorsy guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's got hibiscus and pine
Right.
needle.
Oh,
that
that's
sounds
cool.
fun.
And
Yeah.
stuff
What a
like
great
that,
scent
you know?
that would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus.
No, I went for like, what would Henry David Thoreau, his actual penis, what would HDL's D
Yeah.
actually smell like?
Yeah.
And you got to think he's in that cabin.
Yep.
He's not flushing.
Yep.
He's out in the woods. He's writing too. He takes it with him. It's where he
walks
gets his
around.
best ideas.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. So he writes, then he
So
rips a page,
doesn't smell
page
good.
out, wipes with that.
What about you did one that was King Tut? Was that pre-mummification? Because post-mummification,
Dry.
lot of great scents. Like with that, you know, because all the
they did
spices
a lot
they
of
buried the
spices
body.
and stuff
But
like
like
that. Yeah.
pre,
But also post. If it was a candle of post King Tut's
true. That's true.
penis,
Yep.
it would just burst into flames immediately.
yes, it'd be so dry.
Yeah, it would be like newspaper kindling.
It's a Christmas tree in March.
Yeah, exactly.
Smells like cured meats in here.
Right, yeah. No, that one, oddly peppery.
Okay.
Oddly peppery, because also, didn't they like do oil baths
Yeah,
as
I
well?
think so.
Yeah.
Where they would put like olive oil on and
Yep.
then like scrape the oil off, and that was a form of like bathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that.
All right.
Yeah.
I do actually have some real Christmassy stuff though to talk about too.
Oh, I thought we were going to continue on this.
More candles?
The famous penis candles. I do think it's a pretty good. Listen, viewer listener of Funbearable, do yourself a favor this holiday season. If you're looking for a gift
That
for
special
somebody,
gift.
what do you get for the person that has everything? Something they don't have.
A bidet.
Penis.
A
Candle.
wax candle in the shape of a penis.
A historical penis.
That is a historical figure, usually a literary figure.
Wow.
I didn't want to touch civil rights figures.
Good
I
choice.
felt like that wasn't appropriate.
Yeah.
The Tin Man.
There is a Gandhi one.
Okay.
There is a
Maybe
Gandhi
some
one.
civil rights there.
Yeah,
Smells like salt.
No, it doesn't smell like salt.
Okay.
Ironically,
That's weird.
when I was testing it and I lit it, my wife came home. She was like, "Oh, are we having curry tonight?"
You put us here.
No, because they have seasoning that is like specific.
Yeah,
You
there's
know what
spices.
yeah.
I understand the
So it's
spices.
a very aromatic.
It's about what's
They're very aromatic people.
it's about what's in season in that part of the world. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
So a lot of these are fun, and so check it out when you go to your mall. Go to your local mall this year.
Right.
It's Christmas time, but also
So how-
you could deal with a spook. go to the mall, because the mall is capitalism's haunted house. Is it not? Go there and see everything that's died.
So I want to know how much did it cost? Because I know you had a
This used to be a
kiosk
hot
put
Sam.
Yes.
in every mall in America. How much did that cost for this season?
I teamed up with Piercing Pagoda,
You're right. That's what I
which
thought.
does cheap jewelry and ear piercing in the mall, not in a store.
Nope.
No,
Just on
Out
the
in
mall.
the out and about mall hall.
that's where I like to be pierced.
yeah.
Okay.
I got my ear pierced at a Piercing Pagoda when I was in high school.
You had an ear piercing?
I got it done twice. One at the you're reeling. Oh no, you were reaching for your water. I saw you going like all over in your chair, and I thought just the idea of me having an ear piercing.
Just the quote, you're really. Oh no, you're reaching for your water. It's so funny by itself.
Wow, look at this guy. Oh, never mind. He's just thirsty. So I got my ear pierced there, and I had just like the ball,
Yep.
the golden ball.
Yeah.
And then I removed it. And then freshman year of college, I was with a group of friends, and we went in, and my friend was getting his nose pierced, I think.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, what the hell, do it, because this was
Wow.
like the real deal of like, here's the needle, then
Yep.
we put the
Yeah.
hoop in.
Needle in the damaged tongue.
And I had that fucking, I look back at pictures of like early college days where I'm like, that's insane. That's insane that I had an earring.
It is weird. It did seem like weird for your personality.
It's a
you know?
feather.
It was a feather,
Yeah.
and it did say you're on stolen land.
Yes.
And I would have a dream. I took it off ultimately because the dream catcher kept getting caught on my collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult.
I really did have a Christmas thing I'd like to take to you
Please.
guys that I want you to know.
Yeah,
about.
absolutely. But my point was, stop by any of the kiosks in your local mall.
Right.
It should be there. We have like a little section of each piercing pagoda.
Right.
And we're in a lot of the West Coast Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the East Coast.
No.
I don't know if you knew this. There's two different Spencers.
I did not.
Oh, okay.
West Coast Spencer, which I built a rapport with, and that's why we're in there.
Of course.
East Coast Spencer, kind of a dick.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, his name's Spencer.
That's
Yeah.
true. Good point.
But what about the other Spencer?
He's cool. He goes by Spence.
The idea of saying that someone is cool and then saying this person's name is that. It's so stupid.
All right.
So I saw a Christmas thing I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I went to
Was
go
it a tree?
No, I saw a movie.
Sleigh.
My buddy Rupert, who actually, I think
What does that mean?
he's going to be on an episode of Funbearable,
What?
and
I didn't agree
He
with
might
this.
have already been on it. We don't know. So, he invited me to go see a movie. And he
Okay.
said this movie is called "It's a Wonderful Knife," and it's a slasher Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And I said okay. And when Rupert invites me to go to these weird movies, because he does it often, I don't even look at the trailer because I think it's kind of fun to just be like, well, me and my buddy are going to the movies.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
just check it out.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you need to watch a trailer for. I haven't seen a trailer for this movie. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
me too.
I don't think you need a trailer for it. I think It's a Wonderful Knife just sort of tells you what this movie is.
Well, so like we saw Barbarian the same way, where he's like, "You want to go see Barbarian?" I didn't really.
you
know
thought
about
it was
that.
Barbie,
I thought it was Barbie.
and you're like, I'm waiting.
Barbie and Ryan. I thought it was a sequel that came out like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before the first one came
So
out.
you
which
were
I thought was
waiting and waiting and
interesting.
waiting.
Right. Where's Ryan? Where's Ryan? So so dumb. But so he took me to see It's a Wonderful Knife.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what do you think the movie is?
It could be any number of like plots that are even remotely hinting towards Christmas. That's a horror movie that probably is very this era of horror movies, low budget, and the title could either be this is pretty much a one-for-one horror movie of It's a Wonderful Life, or this is any old movie that's like even near winter. And
Yeah.
we thought of this title, and
Yes.
the title is great, so let's go with that.
We thought of a title based on a Chuck and Brad opening segment joke from one of their shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Or for the little slideshow that I built for my wife on our 10-year anniversary called "It's a Wonderful Wife."
That's
So anyway,
Valentine's Day.
What did you think it was?
I read Rupert's review.
Oh, okay.
So,
So you know what it
I
is.
don't.
Oh, so you know.
yeah.
So here's what I'll say.
Am I right about the second part of that?
No, I thought it was the second part. That was my thing too. I was like, it's got to be a slasher based around Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life. That's it.
Yeah.
So here's what was really interesting. First of all, crazy low budget. Crazy low budget. It feels like they shot it in a day. But strange two people in it. Justin Long as one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really strange. Who the fuck? Oh, and Joel McHale. Which is really strange.
Yeah.
And this is a new thing that I guess maybe to some people
That's
this was widely known, but I didn't really know this. There's like a new crop of essentially what I would consider Hallmark movies for horror fans.
Yeah,
where
that
they're
makes
just
a lot
like
of sense.
they're like
Yeah.
these movies are going to be dog shit. No offense to anyone that made this. I'm so sorry. These movies are going to be really low effort, but people just want new horror, just like they want new Hallmark Christmas movies, just playing. That's what it was.
So they figured it out? Because we talk about this a lot, about how horror is the last genre where you can have like decent stuff happening because there's a loyalty to the genre. So they know that there's an audience baked in. Why there's less, comedies and things like that. Dramas, all that stuff. But horror is going strong is because of the built-in audience. And it sounds like, they figured it out.
Well, that's the thing is, it was weird because it did say in the opening credits, it said a Shudder original. And I do have in my mind, which I haven't really watched a lot of Shudder, and I'm sure that Shudder has produced some good stuff, for sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it does feel like more of like a movie of the week type of thing that they'll produce.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see Justin Long and Joel McHale in it. That seems like a weird pull for like something that's so low budget. This was basically like, and I actually think that the beginning, if we came up with this in one sentence, we're like, that's a great start. But then they were like, well, we're shooting in 5 minutes. And you're like, no. That's how it felt. And what it was
Joel, we have for a half day.
Yeah. So they had a basically what it was around Christmas. This girl was not being treated too well by her family and parents. Not terrible, just like her parents got her this like shitty workout costume, outfit for Christmas, and they got her brother a truck, like stuff like that.
Okay.
And this killer comes. And
to be fair, though, was she fat?
That's part of it. Is they were
I was making the It was a bad joke.
Yes,
it was a bad joke.
But they were like, so basically, this killer comes. He kills maybe 3 or 4 people. Then he goes to kill her brother, and her brother is holding him back, and she takes a car battery thing, I don't know, the clamps, and she like electrocutes him, and he dies, right? But she feels like no one cares about her, so she goes to like the pier, just like It's a Wonderful Life, or because he goes to a bridge.
Yeah.
And she's like, I wish no one cares about me. I wish I was never born. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she like turns around and goes back into her little town. She was never born. So her brother was killed by the killer, and the killer has continued to kill people since then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of like the idea of taking It's a Wonderful Life and doing that during an important moment.
Sure.
Where you realize that because It's a Wonderful Life is kind of about continual relationships.
Yeah.
And the idea of twisting that into be like a specific moment. And so we had a left turn, almost like Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Although the irony in this situation, though, is like she gets to see the good that she causes by existing, but the crux of like the impetus for her to do this thing was, I don't feel like anyone cares about me or treats me nice, right?
Well,
but then it's like, okay, great, so you do the good things if you exist, but people are still like, whatever, who gives a shit? But for her, it's like, no, this is highlighting how shitty you guys are to me.
Her best friend was cheating, like her boyfriend was cheating on her with her best friend, or whatever, all that stuff. And anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but like, I think the concept is cool, but man, I have never, I don't know if I've ever seen a movie in a theater that was this low effort, besides Skinamarink, which Rupert also took me to.
Yeah.
But it was.
Let's go through a list of things Chuck doesn't have time to watch that we recommend.
At least you guys got to do hand stuff during the movie.
That's true.
Every time you and Rupert go.
But anyway, it was really strange. I didn't really know that this type of movie got a theatrical release. I think maybe it was like one of those limited things. Who knows what it was?
Yeah, it was because it's on Shudder now.
But I talked to Rupert, and he's like, oh, there's a kind of a new thing where they're taking movie tropes that are well known and they're making horror movies out of them. And they just did one of Back to the Future, and they did one of Freaky Friday too.
Yeah, I saw the trailers for the Back to the Future one, and I'm just like,
He said it was okay, but like, he thought this one was like dog shit, and it was. I'm not trying to criticize the filmmakers or anything like that.
It bums me out because the thing that excites me about the horror genre
is the new idea aspect.
Yes, is the stuff that's like, wow, this is fun and new and different and stuff like It Follows.
Yeah. It follows rules.
Like this is high watermark, and it just bums me out where it's like, oh no, instead, why don't we make instead of like doing It Follows, why don't we make 20 terrible movies that have one recognizable hook that we put in the trailer, put in the title, and just ship it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we'll get this TV personality that's willing to do it, or this movie person, that's on the decline. We'll bring them in. We'll have them do the movie. You know what I mean? We'll get Kevin Sorbo to be the dad and call it a day.
I think that this could have worked really well as one episode of a television show.
Sure. Yeah.
That's where it belongs.
Yeah,
if this was an episode of Community,
right.
I mean, obviously Joel McHale's did it, but like that would be cool.
But that's the problem is like when you do have such a thin like concept of just like here's this tiny hook.
Yes.
It's like but is that 90 minutes of a hook,
dude? And then it was one of the problems that I have this problem with a lot of different movies where the protagonists were like, we're in a crazy situation. I wonder if we do this, it'll fix it. And then the whole movie is them trying to do the thing that they made up in their head. And that happens to be the key. Yeah. And in this one, it happened twice because the girl's like, well, maybe if I kill the guy who
Spoilers.
Well, maybe if I kill the guy who's the killer, just like I originally did, we'll go back to normal. Someone else is the killer now. So she kills him and it happens to be somebody else.
Why would it be somebody else?
Because the whole movie is basically about how Justin Long is like this mayor. It's funny. I think that what he was doing in terms of his acting in this is pretty interesting because he was going to kind of be like a Southern Republican political guy who's like really fake, which is very different for Justin Long to me. So I kind of appreciate that he was going in that direction.
Yeah.
But he had an employee that he basically had start killing other people. He was the killer. And then someone below him, he had them start killing for him because he would just kill all the businesses that were in
subcontracting.
So anyway,
capitalism.
She kills the new killer. It doesn't send her back to her timeline, and they go, you know what? Because she makes a friend. She's like, you know what? We got to kill the original guy. That's what's going to send me back. And so then she goes and kills the original guy, and it does. And I'm like, man, these movies where they just the characters in the movie make up the plot, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's like it's bananas to think that someone would make it.
It's all just disingenuousness.
Yeah,
I think that's the
tough.
problem. Is like, is this real or are you just putting out a thing? You know what I mean?
And that's why I think the Hallmark, because to me the Hallmark movies are just like these people want Christmas stuff. Just put a Christmas thing on the screen.
Yeah.
Christmas puppies save Christmas. Whatever the fuck.
This is what makes me cynical and what makes me skeptical of movies that come out that make me go, I don't know. I'm going to wait and see what people start saying about it to see if it's worth the time. Because when you have something based on this is a genre thing, or this is a twist thing that we all know. It could be something like taking Groundhog Day, and turning that into a new thing. Andy Samberg and
Christina Maloney.
Yes, Palm Springs, awesome. That was great because it's doing something a little different. It's exploring something. It's fun and it's easy to say like, oh, it's Groundhog Day, but what if Bill Murray and Andy McDowell were going through it together? Cool.
I'll also say
I'm good.
Groundhog Day and a horror, Happy Death Day, which I watched. I watched and enjoyed.
That was pretty good.
I also watched Happy Death Day to You. Full stop.
Yeah. And so my thing is like you have the real, genuine version of a thing.
Right.
Let's take this recognizable thing and play with it, and do something interesting. But then you have the other side, which unfortunately is too many things, which is we're just using that recognizable thing to get this out there. To keep it Christmas, keep it Christmassy.
Right. Yeah.
That's our whole thing. We always say it, KIC, keep it Christmas. What's that?
KIC.
Yeah. So keep it Christmas.
I wish we had that attitude at the beginning of this episode.
I wish we had that attitude for a whole thing.
Your wintry frigid nutsack.
Not butthole.
Both, right?
It was all over the place. Spinning. I was on my back.
I'm so sorry. You said that.
It was basically a water slide.
I just pictured
he's bouncing, and then he slowly turns. He's like, no, and it starts spinning him.
I was
Get
the
off this crazy thing.
the astronaut. And, well, Rosie goes up to turn it off, and she turns it on like turbo, and I'm like, no.
the spinning is going faster and faster, and you're like, I'm gonna black out. You wake up, you're like,
I don't know how it stopped.
yeah, I don't know how long I was doing it.
Yeah.
You know, all I know is that 2 towns over,
Yes.
the water pressure went down.
I could be in an alternate reality right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish I was never born.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So wonderful. No, so and I'll tell you a really funny.
You became the way of water at that point, right? Yeah.
A funny part of this that is going to tie into another thing I want to talk about. This movie was very inspired by Scream, and I felt like that during it. I'm like, this seems really.
Yeah.
Scream. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Finish
your-
what I
finish
was
your
going to
thing,
say
yeah.
is like those movies that come in under the banner of here's this recognizable thing to keep it Christmas to KIC.
Yes.
All I can think of with those kinds of movies where you're like, man, I thought you guys were going to do it for real.
Yeah.
Because that's what
That's
these
how
are.
it felt
They're
to
not
me.
real.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
me
not
too.
genuine in any way. It's a production to literally make a product to ship out.
Yeah.
Right.
I completely agree. And
To me, those movies, here's the KIC part. To those movies, to me, are the turkey for dinner in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, nice. Way to keep it
looks
Christmassy.
beautiful, and it looks like it's full of delicious sustenance.
so much potential.
But when you cut into it, it's completely hollow
Exactly.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like, there's nothing but the veneer of a movie here.
That's exactly
That's
right.
and that's what irritates me the most about them is that veneer.
You're
We
hun-
are so pop culture.
No.
It's wild.
Well, no, this is the only thing. I mean, everything before this wasn't that.
No, I know.
We're
I've
like
been
45
having-
minutes in, and we just started talking.
hour and 7,
Well,
please.
I think the first 52 minutes were not pop culture.
Yeah, no. I'm going through my own weird thing about pop culture. The past few days, I've been having like a pop culture midlife crisis. This probably isn't the place for it.
Yeah,
Well,
we got a KIC.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
keep us KAC for now. We'll talk about that at some point. Then.
Here comes
So it was
the
weird.
Jingle belling and oh my smelling it too.
Oh, I'm smelling it
And
too.
Brad tried to rinse his ass, but he cut it like glass.
And now he's
It's
blue.
blue.
Yeah.
Giddy up, giddy up.
Yep. Oh no. I'm out in the snow. It goes out of the chimney.
Yeah. I'm not so nice. I might be naughty, but now I use a little. Oh no! What is that thing?
Squatty
potty.
So very inspired by Scream, and I'm like,
Damn you, Mucinex! You've ruined my comedy.
it's funny. I'm like, is this inspired by Scream? Am I just making
Yeah.
it up because I like Scream? But
No.
she said a line from Scream.
Of course, you
At
know
the
why?
end, you know what she said? There's a line in Scream 2.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I think that Billy Loomis is.
I know the line. If they keep killing my friends, I'm gonna scream.
I think in the second one, Billy Loomis's mom says something about she's trying to kill Sydney, the main character, and she says, "You forgot one thing about Billy Loomis. I fucking killed him." And then she does something,
Yeah.
and it's a great moment. Nev Campbell is awesome. They have the exact same line in this movie at the end, and I'm like, "What is
Yeah.
going on here?"
Yeah, because they probably went, well, this is a slasher, right?
Yeah.
And then they immediately went, oh, Scream.
It's
and they're
also-
still making those. So
Yeah.
we'll just do Scream. They might as well have just put the Scream franchise into Chat GPT and said, make it snowing too.
Yeah.
And then just did the movie. Joel McHale's in it. Great.
There's basically 2 whodunits, which are just like Scream.
Yep.
And then also they have the scene where the killer is knocked out in the mask, and they have to step over him, which is from Scream 2.
It sounds exactly like they just went, just do that.
And I think
Yeah.
like one of the main characters' names might even be like,
Scream.
oh no, like Sydney.
Ghostface.
It's either Sydney Weathers or Gail Prescott, which
Wow.
is Sydney Prescott. And, it's Courtney Cox and Nev Campbell's main character's name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So- and they're both weather reporters?
Sydney Prescott, Gail Weathers.
Gail Weathers does the weather.
She is a reporter.
Let's go to the weather with Gail.
Yeah.
Gail Weathers. That sounds like a Mr. Show sketch.
Yeah, I know.
And then Sydney, what is it?
Prescott.
Yeah.
Sydney Prescott sounds like one of those names too.
Sure, I think so.
Yeah.
I like the names. Stu Macher. Billy Loomis. Loomis is from Halloween.
Yeah. And Billy from Billy the Kid.
From the puppet from Saw. And
That was later. That was after.
was way later.
It was a call forward.
But the other thing I want to say, because I don't like to just go negative.
Yeah.
I also saw another seasonal horror movie that just came out called Thanksgiving from Eli Roth.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. They did it. It was
It's
killer.
I'm glad
Eli
it's
Roth,
good.
yeah.
It was the second choice for me of the fake trailers from Grindhouse to be made into a real movie.
Was the first one Don't?
Don't.
Yeah.
It's Edgar Wright. I mean,
Yeah.
let Edgar Wright make whatever he wants to make. You know?
It's so funny because like I think I didn't appreciate what Grindhouse was enough when it came out.
yeah,
Which
it's
now
killer.
it's
Yeah.
16 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's like we were in our early 20s.
Yeah,
for most
all of us were in our early 20s.
And as people know, Grindhouse was this project.
No, Brad was our age when in the early 20s. Yeah.
You know, is this
23
project
skidoo.
from
One ticket to a talkie, please.
from directors Quentin Tarantino and Roberto Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They did this thing that was like a throwback to these like 70s Grindhouse movies.
Yeah.
Where they did this movie series where it's 2 movies back to back, very B movie,
A double feature.
and you know they're much more B movie than like what those directors actually make.
Yeah.
Planet Terror and Death Proof, and then they had their director friends make fake trailers in between. So when you went to the theater, you watched one 90-minute movie, then 4 like 2-minute fake trailers, and then another 90-minute movie. And I believe it bombed in the box office, the Grindhouse Project.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
because it's killer,
awesome.
and I wish it had done well so we could have had that be a recurring thing.
And that's
That would be
exactly how I
amazing.
feel.
Yeah.
And they had, as one of the main characters in Death Proof, it was a stunt woman, like a legit
Yeah,
stunt woman as one of the
absolutely.
main
Yeah.
characters, and she did all these awesome like car stunts that were great. I really
You know what's
like to
funny about that
appreciate-
too is like Planet Terror. I remember people were like, "Planet Terror is awesome," you know, because it's so
Wacky.
it's comedy,
Whimsy.
Yeah.
and it's over the top, and it's a fun ride for
sure.
sure. But rewatchable, yeah, fine. But Death Proof
is
is
awesome.
lasting.
Yeah.
You know what?
right?
I
Death
think so,
Proof's
too.
just genuinely a great movie.
You know what? I was talking to Rupert about it, and he's like, you know what I think? He's like, I think that they put the fun one first, and then they had the talking one second. And
Yeah.
it probably, you know, when you're entering a movie at the 2-hour mark,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
well, it's going to be a lot of talking now. They probably should have flipped that. But
Yep.
Quentin Tarantino is the bigger name.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, the trailers in between, one of them was Machete, which was eventually made into a real movie, and
Yep.
that was a fun little movie.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was a fun little action.
Machete don't text.
Yeah, Machete don't text. And Machete, funny little side thing. Machete, who's played by Danny Trejo in the movie Machete, that character is in the Spy Kids series.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
which
yeah.
I think is really
Yeah.
fun. And then they made Don't from Edgar Wright. Don't,
Yeah.
which was awesome. And then what was
Whatever you do, don't.
And then what was the other trailer that wasn't Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, and then
Werewolf Nazis of the SS or Werewolf Women of the SS.
Oh, yeah,
With
yeah.
Rob Zombie and Cherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah.
And then they made another one called Thanksgiving, which was basically a parody of Halloween. What if there was a Thanksgiving killer? And it was made
Yeah.
by Eli Roth.
Man,
And-
I'm just realizing out of all of the names there, it kills me that Edgar Wright is the least prolific
Yeah.
in terms of like output.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean by prolific? You mean how the
Output.
volume?
Yeah.
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 That's what prolific means.
Well, I thought prolific might mean different types of things.
No.
Never?
No, just
Just
Interesting.
output. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Edgar Wright has the least output of that list.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess when I think of a person being prolific, it means
Yeah.
like kind of there's a lot to them, right?
right. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but so I saw Thanksgiving, and I didn't know really if it'd be good or bad. I was just like, oh, it's just a fun thing. I really thought it was so exactly what it was supposed to be.
Good.
And it's funny because like you don't. It was, by the way, super inspired by Scream 2, which I think is like I'm like, wow, we're getting to a point in time where like the movies that we grew up with are a big part of the thing because it's a whodunit as well. With
Yeah.
the mask and everything.
But it's satisfying.
Oh yeah, it was.
So like the Chuck. No, I'm not trying to
Oh,
make
okay.
a joke.
I didn't know if
You're
you were
smiling
I thought
like,
you were
oh,
lead-
here he goes.
No, I thought you were leading down a road to a joke. Sorry.
No.
That's like a punchline. So God.
No path here.
Yeah.
There's no path here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
genuine conversation.
Yeah.
I know that's.
I thought it was
Yeah.
basically going towards a Thanksgiving dinner joke.
No,
So it was
it's
satisfying.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, please. Please.
Hey. Who
You
knows?
think so little of me.
No.
God,
I'm so prolific.
Not yet. Couple more episodes with you guys. You'll get me down there. You'll get me down there.
Yeah.
In the mud and muck and mire and your dry, chapped assholes.
What were you asking?
Call back to Brad on a fountain.
Dry,
The
yeah,
Brad
right.
fountain.
Icy, baby.
I'm like in a nightmare version of the Bellagio hotel experience. Ah!
It's like daggers.
It's the trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Okay, what were we going to ask about?
Waterworld. No, I was going to ask. So, like, if this is Chuck's movie corner, right, with a K for some reason, and it's backwards,
Yeah.
written in crayon,
Yeah, of course. On an Etch-a-Sketch.
So,
Written in crayon on an Etch-a-Sketch.
ooh, y'all, he ruined it.
Yeah.
Just shake it. Oh, it doesn't
No.
do it. Ooh. So, you would say pass on. It's
sure.
a Wonderful Knife,
For sure.
which I was already passing, which is nice. Like I'm walking by a horrible dark alley, and I go, "I'm not going in there."
Yeah.
And then you hear from the darkness, "You better not come in here." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I wasn't going to."
Yeah.
And then Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
that's worth a watch. That's a watch worthy.
Absolutely. Let me give you a little bit more. There's more people in it than I thought. Like the handsome guy from ER, or what is it, Dr. McDreamy or something like that?
Patrick
Dempsey?
Yes.
He's
from Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy, that's what it is.
ER, the dreamboat from ER.
Well, Grey's
George
Anatomy,
Clooney.
They're both doctory.
That's true.
and don't forget about the tall, sort of bald one with glasses.
Anthony Edwards.
But
Goose.
That's right. Yeah.
so the thing, it all takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
The Plymouth High School has a rivalry with Hanover, and Hanover is all dicks, which I mean that's fun.
Yeah.
Patrick Dempsey is awesome as like a Boston cop guy. He's great. He's one of the main characters. All the teens are all kind of newcomers, but I think they were very appropriate. They did a great job.
Yeah.
But it's very tongue in cheek. It's very much like we're taking this genre, we're injecting Thanksgiving, and we're going to do some funny Thanksgiving things, funny puns.
Great.
And
I'm
the
in.
killer has they made up a character named John Carver, and that's the original Pilgrim.
Perfect.
Which is so fun.
Yep.
He has a face. He has the hat, the Pilgrim hat. And the whole movie kind of takes place around these Thanksgiving tropes and traditions, including the football game. And
I'm in.
it was really fun. I
like it.
And I think, I was like watching it and I was like, I'm so glad this got to theaters. I was like, this easily could have been a thing where there was a director behind it who was like, this is cool. This is fun. I'm going to take this seriously. But it's such a small movie that they're just like, just put on a streamer. It was $15 million, I think, to make.
Yeah.
Which is a relatively cheap movie to make.
Sure.
And I'm really glad it went to theaters. I hear it's like cleaning up. And
That's great, yeah.
The reviews are good. It made $10 million in its first day.
Yeah.
Which means that it's going to clearly.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
So cool.
look, it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it
I
is.
know.
It's like, there's actual substance in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
It was-
I wish there was more.
I mean, if you and
like
Colleen
it.
are going to watch it,
Yeah.
go in with like, this is kind of like a horror comedy, and they're doing like tropes on the genre.
Yeah.
And I think you guys will both be like, oh, that was so fun.
For sure. Yeah, I'm totally in.
It's also for a holiday that I think doesn't have a huge glut of media.
Yeah.
Like Halloween does, Christmas more than anything. But Thanksgiving, I don't think, is like overflowing with that.
Yeah,
stuff.
just all the Gibby stuff. I
all the
think.
Gibby stuff.
It's gotten too commercial.
By the way, I saw a Hallmark movie and it was called like Planes, Trains, and like Broken Hearts or some dumb
God.
thing. And I'm like, I'm sure it has nothing to do with planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah,
It's probably
yeah.
just about traveling slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I say Thanksgiving was really, really fun watch.
That's great.
Yeah, it
I
was
love
cool.
it.
And it was, like I said, very inspired by Scream. There's some new Christmas specials this year that I didn't watch. New one just came out. Urkel Saves Christmas. Came
What?
out 2023.
What?
Cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And it's Jaleel White.
Yeah.
And I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, what else is he doing?
I know, of course. Well, he's making weed. He has a Urkel weed. It's like a purple strain of
Jesus
weed.
Christ.
And he's dressed as Urkel in all the promotion for it.
Of course he is. What, dude? That's you say that like, oh, hold on. Here's what you don't expect. He's dressed like Urkel.
And
Did I smoke that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what it is. And then, so I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. You know, if people are looking for a new Christmas thing, there's that. And there's a new, like, family-oriented Batman project called Merry Little Batman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Batman gets kidnapped, and it's about baby Damien
Yep.
taking over as Batman to stop all the Gotham villains.
Damien.
And I'm sure it's like, you know, it's like G-rated. It's gonna be a family
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
But it looks very cute.
Yeah, that's fine. I saw people get mad about that.
Oh, yeah.
About
and
what?
I was,
What are they
about
mad
yeah,
about?
I know.
They're like, oh, he's
Whoa.
supposed to be dark and brooding.
I'm not mad about it.
I know Of course you're
the
not.
way you lean back, that
Of course
sweater is fucking with me. You put that sweater on and that hair that high.
Tell me my
and when
hair
you-
is cool and my
when
sweater
you
is
went
sexy.
when you went what are they mad about? I just picture.
hey,
oh, I know what it
talking
is.
about?
I know what it is.
Staten Island.
The Staten Island is like in him now.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy who
what the
runs
fuck are
a
you
car
talking
dealership, finding out that like the new floor mats that are supposed to be coming in,
Yeah.
that are with the personalized stuff for Staten Motors.
Yep.
Staten Motors.
Yep.
It's
Staten Motors is really
yeah.
funny.
They're supposed to be midnight blue. They're navy blue. What are you talking about? Navy blue.
What are you kidding me? What are they mad about?
It's
though?
called navy.
I do want to know what they're.
Do I sell ships?
Why would they?
I
be,
sell cars.
Look, I don't know, sir. I'll call the distributor and see what we
This
can
is
do.
bullshit. This is bull. Do they know that I'm Staten?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They
I'm
do.
Staten of Staten Motors.
Yeah.
What would people be mad about for this?
They were just it's just those shitty like comic book guys that are just like it's
the gatekeepers.
ruining it. Yeah, it's ruining it, and it's like this is not. This doesn't live next to like
Dark Knight.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this isn't. This movie doesn't start with something in the way. Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not. It's
It's just a cute little thing. Even the
those
animation
things can
styles.
exist.
Yeah.
Side by side.
I love
Yeah.
new stuff like that. I love
Sure.
little one shots. And final thing,
I'm
I was-
also exhausted just generally by those people that are like.
That's correct.
I'm exhausted by. Actually, Marvel's is great, and you're a sexist piece of shit if you don't like it. I'm just as sick of also. This is the worst movie that's ever come
Yep.
because it's MCU and they're ruining
never heard
everything.
that.
Oh, I've seen stuff like that. Basically, all sides of that argument suck.
last night I was going to bed and I'm like, I am fucking so frustrated about being in the middle of these two extremes of everyone on this side being like, meh, 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 and everyone on this side being like, meh, meh, meh. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. The Marvels thing
Yeah.
is exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm like, Marvel's failed probably because they didn't do a good job making a movie. That's it. That's all. I'm sure.
I think we have to have, if we were genuinely discussing this,
Yeah, we
which
probably have to see
please,
it.
please don't.
Yeah, I know.
We would have to have a discussion, a further larger discussion before we even got to the Marvels movie and the quality of it.
Yeah.
I'm not even there, right? Like
I know.
what I'm,
Yep.
the discussion that has to happen is like, in terms of why did it fail or whatever, we need to look at all the shit that has come in the last few years.
Of course.
Right before this, because I think that's the real culprit, right? Then we can talk about whether or not the movie itself is good. I don't know. I will see it at some point.
Yeah, I know.
But like Marvel's not. It's not like I'm gonna go into Marvel's the movie and be like, everything's been great. I don't understand.
Yeah.
This should have been.
I
They should have
know.
knocked this out of the
Exactly.
park.
Let's
I
say-
mean, Quantum Mania is one of the best movies ever
I was just
made.
gonna say they also just made Secret Invasion, which
Yeah.
is like their lowest rated thing ever too. And I'm like, it's just right now
Yeah.
they're so far into this train that's this behemoth that they're trying to balance.
Right.
It's like what the fuck?
And Bob Iger is just like, we're going to put out as much shit
I
as
know.
possible. I'm sorry to get negative, but like the season 2 of Loki,
Mm-hmm.
I watched 2.5 episodes, and I genuinely went like, I don't need to know, and I stopped. I stopped.
Ooh. See, I liked the second season of Loki.
Maybe it gets better.
It does.
But it was feeling very repetitive.
Yep.
It felt like each, we got to do this.
Yep.
Was the same exact thing. Like essentially like we got to do this, otherwise the
Right.
timeline's going to explode.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Episode 2. We got to do this, otherwise the timeline will explode. And the story was so convoluted in the beginning.
Yep.
yeah.
When I started episode 2, I stopped, went back to episode 1,
Right.
Yeah.
and went, wait a minute. I genuinely thought I had files mixed up because I downloaded them.
Yeah.
The storyline.
I
is
was like,
insane.
I think this is episode 3. I must have missed something.
Right.
Because episode 2 starts up and I'm like, hold on. I thought that guy, why is he over here now?
Yeah.
What's going on? And it's not like it's so complicated, it's confusing.
Right.
It was just poorly told,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it sucks because there's a new character. I don't know how long he's in it, but one of the guys from Blind Spotting, the co-lead of the movie Blind Spotting with Daveed Diggs.
I didn't know if you were talking about
yeah.
the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because he's in it too, right?
Ki Hui Kwan.
He's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
love
he's
him.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Data and from Goonies.
Yes, that's right.
But no. This actor is from Blind Spotting, the movie with Daveed Diggs.
Is he the movie star guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yes.
He's a great actor. Blind Spotting is one of those movies that I highly recommend.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. The energy in that movie, immediately you're like, whoa, all right. It's like, take me with you on this.
Yeah.
And it was like their brainchild, Daveed
Yeah,
Diggs
yeah,
and
yeah.
this other guy.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see him like moving
Right.
forward and getting stuff. But yeah, the show just you know what I think is happening with Marvel stuff? You know how people used to talk about superhero fatigue?
Yep.
I think we're actually there now.
Yes.
I also think the quality has dropped tremendously.
Yes, and I think a part of it is like the fatigue isn't necessarily on just superheroes in general. The fatigue is with the barrage. I
Yes.
think that's what it
Me
is.
too. I think so too.
We're just hit with so much, the fact that we're at a point with MCU where it's like this movie's coming out and it's kind of tying in 3 different TV shows.
I know.
And it's also a continuation of this character that was in these other things.
Right, I
And
know.
I'm just kind of like, I'm done. I don't
I have
want to
a-
do it anymore.
I have a whole theory
Anyway.
about how this could have been avoided, but
Yeah.
that's it for another episode.
I'll say this:
Merry Christmas.
I do have a. Go ahead.
Iman Vellani was great in the Marvels.
I've heard nothing but great things about her. Yeah.
great.
Oh,
absolutely.
I think she's great too. Like I
Yeah.
saw her thing about like people are like, well, why do you think this movie failed? Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel personally responsible? And she's like, I don't. She's like, I love the movie.
Yeah.
And the person who needs to worry about how it failed is Bob Iger. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great take.
And my response to the idea of superhero fatigue being just about superheroes is like, I don't know, like Spider-Man 2, the video game, was a huge success.
Yep.
I was thrilled. Couldn't wait.
yeah.
Spider-Man Across the Universe was fantastic
Yep.
and amazing. Why? We're
Deadpool-
so pop culture.
Deadpool 3 is going to come out next year. And
Yeah.
it's going to be amazing.
Sure,
for
sure.
With the same team and Reynolds. You got people that care about their projects. Anyway,
Yeah.
my last thing is actually a positive Marvel thing. But it's not a mainstream Marvel thing. It's a thing I don't think people really know about.
Yeah.
When the first Spider-Verse movie came out, I don't know if you remember this. This is so funny because it fell out of my head for so long. During the beginning of the movie, they set up the original Spider-Man character, and one of the things he says is that he had a Christmas album.
Yeah, that's
as
right.
a throwaway joke.
Yeah.
And what they did when that movie came out was they actually put out the Christmas album
Oh, that's fun.
that's
as
fun,
like
yeah.
as like a little fun little thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to remember that for Christmas. Totally
Yeah.
forgot about it. I'm like, I got to remember that for next Christmas. This Christmas, I finally checked it out.
Yeah.
It's called The Very Spidey Christmas. It's on all the streaming services, and it's
Can you read me the tracks, please?
Joy to the World by the guy who voices Miles.
That's not funny, but okay.
But the lyrics are wicked funny.
Oh, okay.
It's about how he doesn't get paid for what he's doing.
Oh,
and
that's
he's like,
okay.
"Can I?" And it's really funny.
Yeah.
Spidey Bells by
Beautiful.
Chris Pine, and it's wicked funny. And it's about like, why am I selling out and doing this? But it's all part of the song.
Yeah, yeah.
Very funny. Third one is Deck the Halls by Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Pine does Up on the Housetop, and it's another Spider-Man thing. Final one is The Night Before Christmas, 1967. That's what it's called, by Yorma Taccone from Lonely Island.
Nice.
And it's
Fun.
Spider-Man injected into the poem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is people making a bizarre fucking thing that's going to make them no money. It's not going to make the movie better. It's not
Yeah,
going to bring
yeah.
more people in. It's just like, we love this crazy fucking kooky idea.
Yeah.
And they just killed it. And that's
Yeah.
where the best art is going to come from.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
same thing with Eli Roth making Thanksgiving. It's kind of a similar thing where he's like, no, this movie's not going to set the world on fire. We're going to make billions of dollars. He's like, this is a fun, crazy idea. Let's just do it. And that's what I love.
I feel a deep need to throw in some kind of
Christmas.
it's not even Christmas.
Oh, okay.
But because we're doing so much pop culture and you're talking about great art.
Yeah.
And it feels weird to hear great art like Eli Roth's movie. I understand movies are art. I'm going through a pop culture midlife crisis.
Right.
I'm struggling with a thing.
Yeah.
I'm worried because I feel like we've gotten to a place where pop culture, something's playing right now.
Yeah, I just heard that. It was I
Oh,
pressed play on that by
okay.
accident. It's on my headphones over there.
Where pop culture has gotten so it's so everything we do because we have phones in our pockets that can immediately put things in front of us, and pop culture is the one thing that is best hammered through the medium of your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And I worry that it's really turning us into something, just as a whole, not us, but we're in the whole.
We sure are.
Sure.
And it worries. I'm worried that now pop culture is in a place where a huge part of pop culture is pop culture discussing pop culture.
Yes.
This is pop culture, what we're talking about, and we're talking about pop culture.
Yep.
And it's turning, it's all mixing up in my brain, right? And it's not a judgment or anything like that. What I wanted to say, throw out there's a movie that is phenomenal. It's called Burning. And I had to download it when I watched it.
Okay.
It is a Korean film. Steven Yeun is he's in it. He's not the lead, but he plays he's like the number 3 in the film.
Yeah.
Burning is phenomenal. The ride of that movie is great. I don't even want to tell you the crux of the thing because it's too important to just let it play out.
Yeah.
Got it.
Even saying that, I worry would give you an expectation.
Got it.
I was thrilled with that movie.
Is it subs or dubs?
Subs.
Okay.
I don't know if they did a dub. I only did sub.
Yep.
Uh,
Subs or doms?
which one do I want to be, or which one do I want
Which
to
one
have
is
happen
which
to
one
me?
is the movie? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really, really phenomenal. I highly recommend
Burning.
it. And I just saw that it is on, I believe, Netflix right now.
Oh, nice. There you go.
So it's super easy to consume. That is a movie that should have more eyes on it. I just want to throw it out there. You're going to have to read it, but it's fucking great.
Fun bears are smart enough to watch.
No,
a
I
movie
know.
with
I'm not
subs.
even talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say what like Thanksgiving's dumb or something like
Yeah.
that. That's not what I mean. I want to see Thanksgiving. I'm excited
No,
about
but
it.
I
I'm
mean-
having my own crises in my
My
mind.
thing is that the fun bears are capable of watching a movie in a foreign language.
of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I have a movie like that too that I just watched that I really appreciated. It's called Don't Let Go. It's really small. Most people probably haven't heard of it. It only had a $5 million budget, and I think that might have even included promotion. So like it didn't get a lot of trailers and everything. And I think that I just thought the movie was really, really a great concept. A lot of great acting. The lead guy, I keep forgetting his name. It is David Oily. How do you say his last name? Oyellowo.
I don't know.
I don't know. I would have to see
Is that
it.
right?
Yeah.
You've seen him before.
Oyellowo?
Oyellowo. He's in a bunch of things, but anyway, he's the lead, and he's fucking like incredible. His acting is like absolutely amazing, and it's really this kind of simple story about how his niece, who he's very close to, gets murdered, and then he gets a call from her cell phone, and somehow she's calling from 2 weeks ago, and he's consistently talking to her, and it's a countdown to try to figure out what's happening.
Sure,
and how it
yeah.
can prevent
Yeah,
it.
that sounds fun.
Very small movie.
Yeah.
But I just think that the acting was great. The concept was great. I don't know if they stuck the landing, but the whole time I was like, this is so fun to watch. It was just so fun to watch. And you can tell that the people who made it, it was Jacob Estes who wrote it and directed it. You can tell that like actor's killer, writer and director is killer. They're going to go on to make more stuff, and you're seeing the beginnings of that,
Sure,
which I
yeah.
love.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's another one that's kind of under the radar, but really, really enjoyable if you're a fan of film.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also recently watched a film. It was called Avatar 2: The Way of Water. I watched it. Full stop.
There you go. That's fair. That is fair. I'm
By the way, it's interesting that the subtitle of that movie is also going to be the reason for your death
yeah,
someday.
yeah.
I got rid of the bidet. I said bidet.
Yeah, bodega.
Yes.
A bodega.
Ooh, I don't know what that is, but I'm buying.
Gives you
think
Snickers bars.
Yeah, I think you get a clean asshole and like an egg and cheese.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
In that case,
Yeah.
I'm
For
in.
sure.
Yeah.
No. I would. The last thing I want to say about that, burning. Korean film is like killing it.
Yeah,
I
I
love
believe it.
so much of what's coming out of Korea. Some of my favorite directors are Korean, Bong Joon-ho,
Yep.
and Park Chan-wook.
Yep.
I fucking love Park Chan-wook. Burning, It's a slow burn of a movie.
That's funny.
But it's so hard because like you can say hey, phone call from 2 weeks ago. It's like, okay, cool.
One
But
sentence,
it's not
that's
giving it away.
Right.
Burning, if I tell you, it's over.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Yeah,
Don't tell
that's
me.
fine.
I will say I found it because another film person recommended it based on the idea of great subtle performances.
Yeah.
Where acting isn't front and center, like, look at me, I'm doing my performance, like a Daniel Day-Lewis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Stephen Yeun having an incredible subtle performance
That's
in the
awesome.
movie. Really recommend it. I know this isn't very Christmassy, but guess what? That's okay because this was Christmas
Casual. And we did have a bunch of Christmas stuff.
Of course,
We
yeah,
had
yeah.
Brad's frigid nutsack.
Yeah.
That's winter.
Right.
We talked about pooping in the
Jingle
woods.
Balls.
Yeah, Jingle Balls. Oh, that's a good nickname for him and his Scro-Globe.
Yeah.
Why is his Scro-Globe so small? Well, listen to this episode.
I'll say
It's shrunken.
Burning is on Netflix and
Oh,
Prime
good.
Video and Peacock.
Perfect.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see that because I've been telling my wife, like, you got to check this movie out. I saw it. I was on a boat.
Yeah.
And I watched the movie based on that recommendation.
Yeah.
And it's really, really fantastic.
Nice.
So we got to stop talking about things. I'm sorry. I'm going through a thing. It's very
Yeah.
weird. I want to talk about it on the podcast, but I think it's a bummer for like a Christmas time
We'll
thing.
get you a
Yeah, we'll
bidet.
talk about it at some point
We'll
in
get you a
time.
bidet and
Yeah.
you'll go through your thing.
And
How about
I've been
roof?
dealing with a very similar thing too. The idea of being in between the two fights.
Yeah,
I've been.
yeah.
It's very like, dude.
Yeah, mine is more the idea of where we've gotten to, and I'm not sure if I'm old man yells at cloud.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but I want to step back and go, hey, how did we get here?
I know.
Right? Because this isn't good.
This is not my beautiful house.
Actually, there's a maybe this will.
This
tie
is my
in.
beautiful wife,
Maybe
but I don't know this house.
Maybe we can tie this in at some point to your discussion. But when I did the panel recently with Wayne Knight at Rhode Island Comic Con, someone asked him about Michael Crichton's take on the internet. For some reason, I don't know how it came up because they were making Jurassic Park in essentially in 1992, which is very close to that dawn of that moment. And he said that Michael Crichton had this viewpoint on the internet where he's like, I think the internet is going to be really negative because truth will take a backseat to consensus. And I'm like, that's a great
Yeah.
idea. He goes, you can't, he goes, like he was talking about like Da Vinci or something. He's like, that art as being like the culmination of a great mind is completely like silenced by the idea of everyone being able to talk at the same time.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, wow, that's a brilliant take on it, right?
Michael Crichton's
Yeah.
a smart dude.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to read
Yeah.
about that, you know?
It's tough because I think for me, a crux of this thing is I'm not saying there shouldn't be Marvel movie popcorn superhero things. Do it. It's
Yeah.
fine. My concern, where I turn into old man yells at cloud is I don't think that should be the most important fucking conversation that everybody's talking about.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter at the level that it matters.
Yes.
You know what's tough?
And that's what kills me.
Everything matters at the level
Exactly.
that it matters.
And
That's
if
the
everything
problem.
matters, nothing matters. And that's
Exactly.
what gets me. So I catch myself talking to Chuck on the phone. I'll catch myself in a moment going, why are we talking about this? You know what I mean? And I brought it up. I'm the one that's like, hey, I really like this thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing? And it's a weird thing. I'm having a real moment of just like, what is this? Does it matter? Why does it matter? What should matter?
Yeah, it's tough because I think that there is this like new level of extreme divisiveness and this extreme way of expressing yourself about everything that I think gets a spotlight shown on how ridiculous it is when it does come to that stuff.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous everywhere.
That's
this is where
yeah.
it gets the craziest.
Of course, but there's even the other side of it that's not even the ultra negative, I guess. But the question of what the greater effect is, where the other day I saw that Red Letter Media had released a new review episode talking about Raising Arizona.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that movie. We were talking about it before the episode started. And part of my crises in my mind right now, my internal struggle is this idea that these guys talking about that movie is a thing where I'm like, ooh, cool. It's a 30-minute episode of review where they're talking about this, and I love it, and I want to hear them talk about it. The same way we talk about certain things and people, ingest that.
Yep.
My thing is like, we are at a place where it's not novel in any way for the pop culture you consume to just be about pop culture that you consume.
Right.
That's just kind of the level where we are. And it does fuck with me. It does fuck with me in a big way. I guess what I'm saying is I'm sorry. I'm having the meltdown now.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all right.
I don't want us all to turn into Funko Pops. That's my thing.
Could you make the meltdown like Christmassy?
I gotta be honest. I think about this a lot in terms of my own career.
Sure.
And in terms of I mean, we'll talk about it. I think about Red Letter Media sometimes, and I'm like, why aren't they making more stuff that they made?
Yeah.
Why aren't they making their own stuff? They're clever, they're smart, they're talented.
And
now all they do is talk about
the
other
audience
people's
just
stuff.
wants them to talk and do that stuff. Yeah. Oh no, it's a really
I deal with the same thing with Tell 'em Steve Dave.
Yeah.
And it's like we could make really cool original stuff, and we do that too. But sometimes the audience reaction is like, "Well, no, we want you to just talk about the stuff that you."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's make great stuff though.
Yeah.
I know it's very tough.
All the audiences are like, more Brad. We want to hear more about bidets. Like, clearly,
that is original though.
Yeah, bidet roar? Are you kidding me?
Bidet roar, Brad the bidet roar.
boy, I don't like.
Bidet. That's all, folks. You know what I mean?
I can't believe you didn't know about that. I can't believe you didn't.
freeze him out of the thing.
I can't believe you didn't know about that story. Yeah, I you know what? I bought the bidet from Acme.
Yeah.
Your Roadrunner is just trying to have a clean asshole.
Someday.
I love that. I really do love that. No, I apologize for having this.
no,
this
you're right,
thing.
man.
I guess as a stand-up comic, the idea of talking about where things are is there, I guess,
Sure.
or viewing things through a certain disconnection.
Yep.
But yeah, and we're all in it. We're all in it. We literally have a podcast where we talk about pop culture quite a fucking bit.
Yeah.
And it does make me go like, is this a good thing? Are we part of the problem? Are we giving in to something, or are we creating something?
You know
and
what-
the question is there,
You know,
right?
to me, you know what it feels like, and this is, we can shut this down.
I think the FBI will.
My take on that kind of thing is, I worry about the people who get away from making things and just do the commentary.
Yeah.
But with us doing our weekly podcast, and
Yeah.
we're all doing these different creative things and following it, and the podcast is somewhat following our careers, somewhat us talking about the other things that are happening around our careers, whether it's movies or comedy or whatever. That all makes sense. But what does scare me is, not that I'm scared of it for this particular project, but the idea of like, well, this is more lucrative. This is so all we're going to do is sit around and talk about other people's stuff and stop making our own stuff. And that's Red Letter Media, which I really appreciate them.
Yeah.
But they did start out making a lot of their own stuff. And that is gone from what they do, which is a bum out to me.
Yes.
It's tough because with Red Letter Media, so much, even the stuff that was original stuff that they were doing
Was derivative. It was like
it wasn't derivative, but it was a take.
It was a take. I should say. Not derivative. You're right.
Yeah, and it's so that gets tricky. But it I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like the thing I'm going through is like I wanted to earlier shout out someone who came to a show recently, and it was like a funny little moment to have a conversation about, and we'll get to it in another episode. And it is weird where it's like, no, we don't have time for that. And I don't mean we as in us.
Yeah.
I mean large picture. This is not me airing a grievance against anybody in this room.
Yeah.
Maybe just me.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. We have to talk about pop cultural stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Whether it's movies or pop culture surrounding a holiday, that kind of stuff. It's weird. Probably shouldn't have brought this up.
We can talk.
Sorry.
Well, let's have a talk about it in a future episode. 'Cause I have some stuff too that I've really.
Yeah.
And what's unfortunate though is at the end of this, my call to action is don't listen to any podcasts, including ours.
Oh, I was say
Kill
except
the
ours.
podcast.
Well, Fun Bears, if you have thoughts Yes. If you have thoughts about pop culture or any of the stuff we've discussed here tonight, bidets, send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find us through socials at funbearablepod. We're always happy to hear from y'all.
Fun brain exercise, fun thought experiment to do for our viewer listener at home. Think about if you had grown up in like the 50s, right?
Yeah.
And that's all you knew, and suddenly we're teleported to 2023.
Yeah.
How would you feel things are going?
Oh boy.
Because that's pre all the pop culture.
I know.
We have to share drinking fountains now?
I mean, that's taking out that side of it. Okay. But I'm not, by the way, I'm not a guy going like, we need to go back to the 50s
Right,
or
right.
anything like that.
Yeah.
Just the only reason I'm saying the 50s is because it's before all of the pop cultural stuff
Yes.
began.
Right.
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yes.
I hope, how is your now? How's
Everything-
your downstairs
everything's
business? How's
fine.
your sub pump?
It's
doing?
as good as it ever has been.
Right. Yeah. So
Okay.
for
So
me,
in disarray.
it's, for me, it's
Reconstructive
good
surgery
for a normal person, like a D-.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay,
say.
so it's more of a like you look great for having had that accident.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
You're-
real
you're-
Mickey Rourke.
You're
down there.
you're so brave. that kind of stuff.
I heard someone refer to your asshole once, and they said it's got a great personality.
Yes.
No, it's really funny.
Yes. They said, well, not great, but like good. A good
Good
personality.
personality.
Yeah.
Really kind.
Yeah.
Really kind asshole.
Kind-hearted.
Brave.
Sad sack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that brave thing is a joke that I've been kind of playing with a little bit. Being a fat guy,
Yeah.
right? If I was a fat woman, I'd be brave. But I'm not.
Yep.
I'm just fat. That's not good for anybody to hear.
Ooh, good name for your next album. Ray Harrington, Just Fat.
Not brave, just fat. How's
You know what?
that?
That's actually not fun. That's pretty good.
It's all right.
the
It's
idea
all right.
of not brave,
Yeah.
just fat is funny.
Otherwise, the only other title I had going in my head right now was, what are we doing and why are you here?
Stop listening to me and live your life.
Yeah. Please. We have to kill this.
Right.
Right?
Beautiful. Let's kill this episode.
Merry Christmas. You know what? This was Christmas
Casual.
because this was the feeling that friends or family have gathering together,
Yep.
Yeah.
chatting, and good Lord, don't talk about your personal life because that would destroy everything.
Yep, just-
So we do a lot of how's the weather, right?
Yeah,
I think that works.
yeah.
That works well.
Good.
And in this term, how's the weather was referring to the current climate of Brad's asshole.
And his testicles. And in that way, it's more like, how's the wither?
Ooh. It is a biome. It does have its own biome.
How's the wither?
Thank you all so much for listening and or watching. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thanks so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
Would you say it was like sleet or hail?
I would not say those. It was just cold water.
It is not as resilient as a mailman. That's all I'm going to say right now.
I heard that after it happened, Brad called the NAACP and said, I want to apologize because when I heard about the civil rights movement and how they would turn fire hoses on them, I was like, big deal, who cares? And now I get it. And also my views on minorities have changed. They've shifted.
That's the problem with red states. You need more bidets to change people's minds.
Oh, God. Convincing a red state to get a bidet? Are you kidding me?
Before we started today, I did say, Brad, like, is there any way to describe how it felt? And he said, have you seen The Day After Tomorrow?
Because that's how long it took me to be able to sit down again. Oh, he's going to use it now?
He loves it.
He loves it. Oh, no. He loves it. He said it's like reverse pooping an ice cube. Can I hit stop now?